Yeah. I know I got about 30 seconds to make y'all feel this before y'all turn it off these days. That I might not even release here. But I be doing this shit for me. Help me get through. I feel like I give until I can't, but most don't recognize it till I ain't. Blood on them covers, she hoping paint. Sorry mama, but it ain't. This world took a toll on me, and everyone that say they love me always seem to follow me. The same one that call me great, treat me like I ain't shit. I read between the lines, it's written all over your eyes. I see the disappointment in the eyes of the ones who want me dead, but I ain't never been scared, I tried to get there. Sometimes I wonder if I survived or did I die on that ride to that hospital. Demons all around me, I am not mental. This game of life, it is not simple. Last time I was happy, I was popping pimples. I copped a lot of guns cause I don't really trust none. Keep them all locked in the safe cause I don't trust one. Sometimes I say to myself cause I don't wanna be the one to fuck your mood up. And you think I be acting funny. Ain't nothing funny when that Glock to your own top. You just want the screaming to stop. Daydreaming, I be scheming a lot. They say we all that we got. Well, I ain't got shit cause niggas disappear when it's hot.
Humbly, I endure through life's trials. With fortitude, I face the miles. Though shadows darken, I stand tall, unyielding in the face of it all. Through battles fought and battles lost, I find strength in the tempest tossed. For in humility I find grace, a guiding light in every space. Through hardships faced and burdens carried, I seek solace though weary and heavy. For the humble heart knows its worth, not defined by the accolades bestowed on the earth.
I find myself locked inside the walls of my mind for such a long time. Niggas see results of these crimes and call it strong grind. I just pray to see the sunshine. Meditation never helps, I make these songs cry. Serenade the broken hearted like I'm right there. I might be. Niggas tell me do the right thing, but I'm not Spike Lee. If I was down bad, stains on my white teeth, who would give a fuck about me? Probably very few. That's who I fuck with. I'm talking like one or two. You don't wanna drink from this cup, it's close to 100 proof. Not after major bucks, but I deserve a Grammy. A drop top vet dripping candy. Long time coming, was it worth it? Probably not. No dessert until I drop. Hitting circles around your block, empty Ciroc. We could've both died the second time I dodged death. It took my mama and her sister to get me off of that stress. I often guess and wonder if I made the right choice, or did I kick the door and set it off? This could be purgatory, night of the sleepwalkers, where dead folks seem to keep talking. Are we dead yet?
In silence I find solace and peace, every moment a chance to release. For in humbleness I am made strong, unafraid to admit when I am wrong. I endure the trials that life presents, embracing each challenge, learning from events. For humility teaches with gentle might, that growth and wisdom will come from taking flight. In each step forward I find resilience, a quality forged through something brilliant. With head held high yet humbly inclined, I endure knowing I am not defined. For it's not in grandiose accolades or fame, but in quiet moments when I proclaim that through humility I stand secure, enduring life's tests steadfast and pure. Humbly I endure. 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 Humbly I endure.
Hey, welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, DMG the Poet, aka Brother Pianki. Shout out to my man, Neo Love, for that fire track. Told y'all I'll be listening to that joint every day. But That being said, y'all know what it is. It's Paradigm Shift TV, and we are back with another powerful guest. Been wanting to get this elder on for a while. So let me do my usual greeting before we get into our spiel. Let me say God bless to all my Christian brothers and sisters. Hotep to all my Kemetic brothers and sisters. Let me say shalom to all my Israelite brothers and sisters. Let me say assalamu alaikum to all my brothers and sisters in the NOI. Let me say peace to my brothers and sisters in the nation of gods and earth, them 5%ers. Let me say Islam to my Moorish brothers and sisters. Let me say what's up to all my Albo brothers and sisters. Shout out to all my atheist brothers and sisters. I want to say what's up to all my Rasta brothers and sisters. I want to say shout out to all the flat earth brothers and sisters. And last but not least, I want to say Jumbo to the rest of my brothers and sisters all throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. Y'all know I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you black, I'm with you and I hope you with me. Our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting. We can have unity without uniformity, and we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. With that being said, Elder, please introduce yourself to the Paradigm Shift TV 314 audience.
Appreciate you. Shalom. Kal halal, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. I greet you in the name of the Most High. I appreciate the invite. Love this. Look forward to the invite. Look forward to sharing with your audience, the guests, the chat, all your listeners, man. This is an opportunity that I cherish to be able to introduce myself. One of insignificance, but one who worships one that is very significant. And that's about all I want to say right now, but thank you for having me. And I'm here to answer your questions and to speak with your guests, your chat, your people, or my people.
No doubt. And I want to say something at the top of the show. So, family, when I first heard this elder speak, I was like, I was into the Kemetic paradigm. And so I'm like, everything he said, I'm disagreeing with. And the more I listened to him, and then I came back to Christ, I was like, man, you know what? This elder make a lot more sense than people want to give him credit for. And it just started hitting me in waves. And then, I always got love for my elders that didn't live life and can bestow some things onto us. And so I started more and more wanting to get them on and share some of that wisdom. And I kept forgetting to ask JJ, kept forgetting to ask Sinetta. And then I finally remember because I was on the same panel with them. So this is an honor for me to get them on and talk that talk with them, as I like to say. So where I want to start is, were you raised in the Israelite paradigm, or were you a Christian and you gradually came into the knowledge that you were an Israelite?
Yeah, now I was raised as a Christian, quote unquote, as a Christian. Now, when I say as a Christian, because we hear people all the time saying that, they're a Christian and they believe in Christ and their family grew them up. They went to church. Okay. I didn't know specifically, DMG, about your transformation. This is the first I heard of it. You're back in Christ. For me, that speaks a lot. I didn't know that, man. I remember when we used to butt heads. I remember when you didn't, I would say mildly, did not agree with me. And a lot of times it was frustrating, man, because, I'm trying to make sense, as much sense as I can. I like to say I try to introduce people to this very simplistically. Don't try to make it difficult, man. But evidently I was for a lot of people. So what I say a Christian is an individual that has personally made a decision in their life that they're going to devote their existence, the rest of their living, to Christ. Not to say you won't stumble, not to say you won't fall, but that you will devote yourself to Christ and the things that are of God. A lot of us, it's easy for us to worship or fall in love with the things of God rather than the face of God. I mean, really seek God with all your life, your health, and your strength. Total, putting Him first in all things in your life. That was what I would call a Christian. I never left that, regardless to what I'm doing. Christ is always first in my life because of what He's done for me at the age of 22. I will never forget it. I will never forget the daughter that He gifted me and my first wife with. I will never forget that experience that I had through my mother, who was a prophetess, who spoke after seeing a news report of a child that was left on the church steps in Landover, Maryland. And she said, Stan, God spoke to me and said He's going to give this child to you and your wife. Now, let me get through this real quick, DMG. My wife and I was in the process of adopting. We lost 7 babies.
Mm.
I lost 3 babies before my son was born. And we lost 4 babies after he was born. And the last time, I almost lost her through septic poison. The blood started leaking out between her flesh and her veins. She swelled up. She was dying. And I watched her. I got a call 4 o'clock in the morning to get the family up to the hospital because they didn't think she was going to make it. Okay. So we had decided that we would stop putting her body through that. And we would adopt a child. We were in the process of adopting a child. We had got a call. Where's that? We were going that morning to adopt a child. Well, my mother called me that evening. And I told my mother that we're leaving 8 o'clock in the morning. We got a 9:30 appointment at social services in Maryland. And we'll be coming home with a child. So I don't understand what you're saying. She said, son, this baby is your child. God told me. Now, when a child gets in the system, it takes 6 months before that child can be adopted out. It might take longer, but it cannot be adopted out before 6 months because they got to do whatever backgrounds, whatever significant work they need to do around this adoption. They need to perfect that adoption. So, unto my knowing, that night in California, a kid got mauled to death by a pit bull. At that time, I raised pit bulls. My yard was full of pit bulls. I didn't have any dogs in the house, but I had 6, 7 kennels. I had puppies I had 5 puppies on the ground. And the adoption agency decided not to allow the adoption to go through. I found out that morning when we were getting dressed. I got a call saying, well, they're glad they stopped us, but for the heir of the child, they came to this decision. And immediately, my mind went to the phone call I got that night. California's on a different time zone. That probably happened right when I was talking to my mother on the phone. I don't know. It's 4 hours difference. I know a 2-year-old kid got mauled to death by a pit bull. 6 months later, I got a call asking if we were still available. And of course, we told them yes. They asked about the dogs. I told them I got rid of them. This was the most important thing in my life right now, is to do this for my wife. And they told us to come on down. The lady started telling me about the child, and I started crying. And she said she's seen many mothers come, never seen a prospective father, a man cry. I don't know why I'm crying. My mother prophesied this 6 months ago. And here I am. I'm going home tonight with this child. Court documents and everything already signed. And she's been in my life ever since then. She's 35, got a set of twins, and another child. Somebody asked me, why do I believe? That's why I believe. Because he has given me personal experience on top of my faith that demonstrates that he's real. That's why I can look at Sonetta. And when he say apostles too old to change, I say, thank God.
Right.
Even
Right.
he recognized that. There is no changing. Only for the better. Because this walk with Christ has gotten genuine, man, through the years. Since I was 22 years old, a drug-infected bottom feeder, dope fiend, living in Washington, D.C., in Southeast, catching drain water to get water to shoot a dope in my arm. To shoot dope in my arm.
But look at you now.
I should be dead, man. I should be dead. I was sick and sick of living since 12 years old. I was sick, man. In December 1976, Roots was on for the first time. I was in my mother's basement because she hadn't got to the point where she would put her son out the house yet. But I was in the basement and I was watching Roots, man. And everything that I remembered as a child, when my mother used to take me to church as a child, things got real, man. And I told God, I don't know if you're real, but if you is, you have to change my life. I can't continue. I can't continue living like this. I'm hurting my family. I'm hurting those that love me. And I'm killing myself. And I know it's something better for me. I know that. I had been denied access to every public school in Washington, D.C. at the age of 16. They just kicked me out. They told me they didn't have to deal with me no more. And they gave up on me. It's like I gave up on myself. In February, there was a revival going on at my mother's church. And my mother kept asking me, and I kept telling her I'm going to go. I had no intentions on going. I had gotten a little better, man. I got a haircut, changed my shirt, took a shower. And I ain't going to say I forgot when I called out to God and told him to change my life or take my life. I ain't forgot that. Things were going a little good. I was expecting an income tax check, man. I knew it was on its way. And I had already planned on using it. How that I would always have dope. I was going to take it, buy some dope, I was going to use some, flip the rest, and keep it going. You know, I was just waiting on my check. And as soon as the revival was over, I told my mama, like the manipulator I was, you know, I'm so sorry that thing, I missed it. She said, oh, you ain't no problem. It's going to continue on at your sister's church next week. I was like, dang, you know?
Thought you got away.
Yeah, so that Wednesday night, man, I had to go. I couldn't do it any longer. And I went. I'm glad I did, you know? Something happened to me that night. You know, I got singled out by the preacher and called up to the front. And it's like, man, she knew everything. It's like she's just stood up there and told my deepest dark secrets, man. Telling folk what I did and what I was doing and how I was living. Somehow the shame, the guilt, the remorse hit me. And I was a bawling fool, man. I was up front of the church crying my heart out. And all I remember is saying, yes, Lord. And something lifted up off of me, man. I felt those demons leaving me, man. The demon of drug addiction, the demon of perverted sex, the demon of all kinds, everything. I just felt like that I was getting reborn all over again.
Wow.
I knew what being reborn was about. I've been in the church. I heard the preacher preach. That Friday night, I went back. They told me to come back. I said, okay, I will. She told me to bring a jug of water with me. I said, okay, I will. And Friday night, I was up there. They was praying. I was holding the jug of water. And she was praying, had her hand on the jug of water. And different pastors and deacons were coming around me. And I believe everybody in that church had their hands on me. And the water started vibrating. I don't know if she was shaking it. I wasn't shaking it. But it was bubbling, man. And I let it go. It went to the floor and it burst. It went to the floor and it burst. Somebody that brought their jug said he can have mine. And it started all over again. And I started drinking that jug of water. I think it took me 3 or 4 days to drink that jug of water. 3 weeks after, I've been going to church every day, all the time. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. And my income tax check came. It was about 3 or 4 weeks afterwards. I got my mother's car. I went and cashed my check. I didn't do what I said I was going to do, but I bought a little bit of drugs. I bought about a quarter spoon. And back then it was a drug that we used speedballing with instead of coke. It was a diet pill called BI-62. Bam. And you would peel the back. It was a pain pill. And you would peel it. And the inside pill is yellow. That's what you wanted. And you mix it in your dough. So you got a speedball. You got an up and a downer at the same time. It's called a synergism. And I fired it, man. I saw a friend of mine, man. Normally I wouldn't share my dope. But something had happened to me, man. And the high wasn't right. And I remember in Washington, in Southeast, man, there's a Catholic church. And that church got a building that we used to have dances in called the Panorama Room. And it sits up on a hill. And that hill overlooks the whole city. And we was sitting in the car in the front and we was firing up. And I was up on the hill, parked watching Washington, D.C. And I was telling him, man, about what had happened to me. And I said, you know what, man? I shouldn't even be here right now. But that was all I knew to do, man. You know, that's what I knew to do. But the high didn't work that day, brother. The high, I want to tell you, I got high, but it just didn't do what it used to do for me, man. Work. The stuff I wanted to get away from was still there. I wasn't able to escape it, man.
Yeah.
And that day in that car, I told that brother, I was never going to do this again. And I haven't shot dope since that day.
How many years had that been?
I was in Christianity for 44 years preaching. I've been walking in what I'm walking in now for since 2015.
So I'm 47. So you virtually, like my lifespan has been the amount of time that you've been clean and sober from that affliction.
Yeah. My oldest son is 45.
Okay. Wow. And that's powerful. And see, that's something that you can't. I'm assuming you didn't go to like rehab or anything like that.
No. I went to rehab much later in life. I could have got it if it was because of crack, to avoid a situation that I didn't want after me and my first wife broke up.
Okay.
I had
So
a brief moment.
that's something that you can't really, like quantify when it comes to like people asking why you believe or why you still believe and things like that, because it's kind of like you were saying about how y'all got your daughter. My wife and I lost a baby. And when you say how many y'all lost, like it really like hit me in the stomach, because I lost one, and it hurt me to this day. But after we lost her, my wife had tumors, and after we lost our daughter, the tumors were gone. And subsequently, we had 3 more children back to back. They upstairs now, 20, 19, and 17 years old. Okay. And how many people can say fibroid tumors were gone without surgery? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so somehow in the midst of some pain I was going through and some grief I was going through, I forgot about how God worked those things out. My wife lost those fibroid tumors without having to get surgery. And bam, 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 back to back, we had 20-year-old, 19-year-old, 17-year-old. And I got 4 girls, and my last one was a boy. Yeah. So sometimes like stuff you just can't, like somebody might want to say, well, that was a coincidence. But I choose to believe it was more than that. So let's, you said you was a Christian preacher for 44 years. We see now that most Christian preachers are vehemently against the Israelite paradigm. When did you first encounter that paradigm, and were you against it at first, or did it automatically resonate with you?
Didn't know nothing about it. Hadn't heard of it. I heard of it because in DC on Florida Avenue, Yahweh Ben Yahweh's group was always right there. And whenever you're going uptown to cop, man, Southeast, you're going uptown, you drive past. And I used to see him out there with the white sheets on. So I knew about it. It's the One West crew that I didn't know anything about. I knew about Yahweh Ben Yahweh. I don't know about what churches you went to, but every now and then in church, you would hear a preacher saying, we're them people. But you will hear no more about it. You just hear we are those people. But they
Yeah.
didn't go in detail about it. They would say it. As a matter of fact, since when I first got word, I was the last time I was with my apostle. She was preaching in Maryland, and this was since I was pastoring down here in South Carolina. She preached, "We are these people." She preached it, but she didn't go into Deuteronomy 28. She didn't go into no particular scripture other than we black folk, we are the real Israelites. I've been hearing that ever since I was 22, man. You don't hear it every time. Your pastor may not never preach on it, but evangelists will come in and they'll drop it. Oh, I've always heard it. My mother said it. She said, "We are those people." You know, she would say it. She would explain how God worked in her life and why. How her family was blessed. You know, her grandfather built 5 churches. They're still in existence today. Her great 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 grandfather and daughter. Our family members pastored in those churches. I sat down one day and counted all of the ordained ministers in my family. It was well over 100. Well over 100. The problem we have is picking out a preacher. You would think you wouldn't have a problem, right? No, because you're trying to avoid using the same one all the time when you got so many. And then you got about 30 yet to get ordained, yet to get licensed. I was licensed the very next year, 23 years old. I got my local minister's license, and then I went on from there. Got my elder's license, and then I went on from there. Got my pastoral license, and I went on from there. And in 2012 is when I was ordained as an apostle. I was called 3 years prior, but like every calling, I wait. The Most High would speak to me and tell me, but I would wait until someone else come to me and confirm. I've always waited on my confirmation before doing anything. Always. And I would suggest to anybody that has a desire to wait on your calling. The Most High will perfect it in you. The work he began, he will bring it to a completion. He will not leave you out there. And at that time, he will put the words in your mouth that he needs you to speak. That way, it won't be your flesh speaking. Let him prepare. Let him do the work. Yeah. Uh, Thanks, brother. No one has ever done that for me. But that's an old Cash App.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's an old one. It's just Apostle Zaqan 1414. Apostle
Okay.
Zaqan 1414. Yeah, it's still on my page. I can't remove it. But that site has been compromised.
Gotcha.
Somebody got into it
Okay.
and
Okay.
stole money out of it.
And you
So
said Apostle Zaqan
Apostle Zaqan 1414.
1414. Okay.
Right. Cash App, Apostle Zaqan 1414. Sorry about that.
Oh no, that's not.
Yeah. Some
I should have
that
asked
never.
before I threw it up. I said I should have asked before I threw it up.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Y'all shop, man. You know, it's still on the page. I've been trying to remove it, but it's still on there. Both of them are actually on there. So I've been trying to figure out how to remove that, and I can't. I've been trying. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So you say you had heard people saying that, and evangelists and preachers and things of that nature, and even your mom had said, we them people.
Right.
When did you encounter the Israelites of the One West variety? One of my brothers, one of my main men who come on the channel is Captain K, the Gog Gabor of ISUPK. That's a good brother. I remember we didn't even know each other that long. I want to say it might have been less than a year. My mother was getting breast cancer surgery, and this brother hit me up. I was going through my siblings and my mother was going through some things. We deal with childhood trauma, and I was trying to push past all that. So I'm sitting in the hospital by myself, and he hit me up like, "Hey, you want me to come up there and sit with you for a minute, bro?" And I was like, "I'm good, man," but I appreciated him making the offer. Same thing when I had a medical situation. He hit my wife up like, "Hey, sis, I wanted to surprise my brother. Be there when he wake up." That type of thing. So I don't have nothing bad to say about him in particular, but really about the ISUPK as an organization, because I understand what they trying to get done for our people.
Right.
Even if I don't agree, wholeheartedly with their doctrine.
Right.
That being said, when did you start running into the One West brothers and hearing, some of the things that they say and they put forth?
Right. After I had in 2013 explored going back to school, and I had got my GED right after I got saved, and I still use that, although I know we have to endure to the end. I still use that expression because when I met the Lord is when He saved me, and that's when I was 22 years old. I met my first wife. I'll say I met her because I knew her since the 4th grade. She was in my brother's class.
Okay.
When I was in the 4th, they were in the 2nd. When I was in the 6th, they were in the 4th.
Okay.
And then my oldest sister and her oldest sister went to junior high and high schools together. It's just that she was at the church, and when I got saved, she would offer me gum, and she was instrumental in me stop smoking cigarettes because that's a process, and it took. I just couldn't quit. But it took a couple of weeks, and every Sunday or when she see me, she would offer me a stick of gum. Maybe they say that she saw something good. She went after it, so I don't know. But it was a big issue about that when that evangelist came back in town that was instrumental in birthing me. She saw us sitting together, and she interrupted the church and told my wife to get up and get away from me. That's not your husband. And she called it a sloop-footed devil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, church went quiet. I'll never forget that. The church went very quiet. And she literally got up. They made her get up. And I was like, wow. I mean, we had maybe went on a date or two to the movies or something, which was actually taboo, but we still went. And my mother said that's what the evangelist was concerned about. That she would have you doing things. I mean, I had a pool table in my basement. I couldn't even shoot pool, man. It was against the rules.
So you were like that strict, Church of God in Christ type of
holiness, Pentecostal. Yeah.
Women can't wear pants type of situation.
No, yeah, right. Yeah. Even though some of them did, but no makeup, no earrings. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is showing enough real, man. I mean, holy rollers. Yeah, I'm literally rolling on the floor.
So
You know,
so y'all could court each other, but wouldn't know like shacking was, and anything that could lead to shacking was frowned on.
oh
I
yeah. See, and
understand.
that's what I didn't understand. Because I knew dating in church is different from dating in the world.
Right.
Right? Because we're dating, but we're not having sex. Right? But we're putting ourselves in positions that if we ain't careful,
You might slip
we
up.
will have sex.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're not supposed to. Right? But then, like I say, I was better because when I really got in church after a year is when my eyes was open and I can see the little sins of the people, that the people were worse than the people in the street. And it confused me, man. Because I stopped doing everything. And I'm like, why I gotta stop? Why I feel guilty? You know, why when I do something I feel bad? Why am I convicted? Why can't I do this and not feel convicted? When evidently they doing it. From the preacher with the piano boy, and I don't mean woman. I'm talking boy. This is crazy in these churches, man. Let me stop. Because, you know,
Yeah, that's
that was my avenue, man.
That's a whole nother show.
That got me to where I am today. Without that, I wouldn't be here. Without that in my life, and there are many there that we got to reach back. I believe it to my heart. I don't care if you keep the Sabbath. I just want you to know who you are as a people. You ain't got to dress up in no costume. You don't have, because all that dressing up don't mean nothing if the Spirit of God is not with you. If the Holy Spirit ain't with you, none of that matters. And from One West to a lot of these places, it's the same thing. They got a learning, understanding of the book, but don't know the spirit of the book. They don't know that the words in that book have life. They are living words that are able to cut and divide and change lives. Hear me. The words in that book are powerful to the point it can cut, bring the right guilt that would lead to salvation in a human being. It is the power of God to salvation. This is real. Intellectually, I don't care how smart you are. My mother third grade education. She can teach a fool about the Bible. She was great at it. She had understanding beyond her intelligence. Believe me, man.
No doubt, no doubt. So let's shout out to JJ7000 in the chat.
Yeah.
So when you came in contact with the One West Israelites, did it resonate with you, or were you in opposition to it?
Now, the first Israelite I heard was the brother. Don't do this. Don't do this to me. Because this brother was he was so important as in my early learning. Judah. What's the brother? He changed his name. JJ, put it in the chat, man, who I'm talking about.
He with One West?
No, he's in Israel.
Okay.
He's not with One West.
Okay.
The first person, Judah Praise, so Judah something, and then he changed his name to. Oh my God, this brother is so powerful, man, and I can't think of his name. Well, I heard him.
Okay.
Judah Teach was his previous, and I pulled one of his videos after hearing about who we were. I got sick, man. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. And I came out of the hospital. I had to sit. I couldn't preach. I didn't have nobody to take my place. At that time, I only had about 20 members here in South Carolina anyway. And I let them know that I was sick and that it would take a while for me to get back, that I was going to go to school, go to college, get my bachelor's degree while I'm sick so I can keep working. And if they needed me, I'm here. They can call me and I'll be right here at home. So, and while I was in school, getting my bachelor's degree in biblical teaching and biblical studies, thank God I completed. I got sick again in 2017. I had to take a year off and I only had 2 more classes to take before graduating. I took 17 off. I came back at the end of 17, December, knocked off 2 classes, December and January, the 6 weeks course, knocked them off, and I graduated with my bachelor's degree in May 2018.
That's what's up.
Right.
That's
So
what's up.
I go back in 2015, while I was sick, while I was in school, while I was taking it easy, I ran into Judah Teach. And I wish I could think of his name. God, I wish. It's right there with me. The Lord will give it to me. He'll give it to me.
It'll come to you.
Because this guy is important to my research. He's important to where I am today. So I'm learning through him about Deuteronomy and all of that. I did not see ISUPK until I met Sonetta in 2016 when I went on his show. And I knew what Sonetta was about. He was about exposing the apostle. He was about using me to demonstrate his knowledge of the Bible. He was about bringing me down and standing on my shoulder, putting himself above me. Once I realized that, I didn't take to what he was doing as much as an offense, as much as a trial and opportunity for me to get sharper into this newfound thing, man, that I was discovering, because I was like a baby all over again. But the advantage I had a personal experience that I could not deny. It would not deny. So I never left Christ. I've never stopped being a Christian. I believe in Christ and always will. I just don't use the word Jesus after finding out that that word before the 1700s didn't exist. So I stopped using it. Only when I would make a mistake or when I'm talking to somebody that would not understand me if I didn't use it. So I would use it. It's like the word God. That's one of the, I hate calling on that word. I hate calling because it's so generic. You say God, and I'm going to ask you, what God?
What guy? Yeah, which guys you talking about?
Right, because there are many. I'm henotheistic. Meaning, I recognize and identify that there are many gods. There's only one Most High. Okay? And these gods are real. They're real. Even to some, your Cadillac is your God. The money in your purse is your God. You know, your pimp's your God. So, what God are you talking about? So, the Most High, Ezekiel 39:7, the Most High says that he would let his people know his name so that they will not worship a false image unknowingly. And that he's tired of his people calling on these false gods, thinking they're calling on him. That's 39:7, I think it is. You can pull it up and check it for yourself. But so then it became important to me as an Israelite to find out, well, what is his name? Because I don't want to be calling on Baal, Yahweh,
Right.
by mistake. And I hear Christians, I hear Israelites use Yahweh. They don't know who they calling on. You know? So, and it wasn't until I took Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, paleo, not modern, because it's a difference. It's a big difference. And it hurts my ear when I hear these guys speaking modern Yiddish. It hurts my ear. You know what I mean? You have an opportunity to learn the language that your forefathers spoke. Learn it. It's a pure language. It's easy to learn. It's not difficult. All you got to do is just first believe that it is and walk in it. That's all. So, yeah, man. I don't know if I answered your question.
No. Yeah,
It
no.
wasn't as much as One West. When I met Tazariak is when I found out about One West.
Okay.
I met him through Sinetta. Okay.
So, and I was going to ask you, so now, do you consider the Lashawan Kadash to be the ancient Hebrew, or do you ascribe to that, or because I forgot you do take Hebrew, or you took Hebrew,
right.
So
yeah,
you actually speak language, yeah.
I brought my teacher on Sinetta show, and so yeah. What is called the Lashawan Kadash? The word Lashawan means tongue.
Okay.
The word Kodash means holy. So the language is holy. So in that, I do believe in the Lashawan Kadash, but I call it the Abari or the Abaya. Abaryah, Abari or Abaryah. Yeah. Which is the language of our forefather Abar, the one who crossed over. So that language was a language that was spoken before the tower. It was spoken before the division of tongues by all people. Stopped, ceased at the tower, reintroduced to Abraham by the Most High, according to the book of Jubilees, chapter 12, verse 23 and 24. He opened up Abraham's ears, and he opened his mouth and touched his lips, that he may speak the language of creation, which is the Hebrew, being interpreted. The word Hebrew is a Greek word, really. So exchange is Greek being translated to English, Hebrew. Israel is Greek being translated to English. That's why we're Yasharallah. Yasharallah. That's
okay. So I'm gonna get a little controversial with these next few questions. So, do you believe as an Israelite that the Edomites or Caucasians, and that they are, our essentially, if we're the Israelites, they're our brothers, offspring, and all of that? Do you believe in that particular aspect of the doctrine?
Yeah, yeah. But now um, Esau mixed his seed, or awasa, awasa. He mixed his seed with more than just white people. He mixed his seeds with Arabs. He mixed his seeds with Ishmaelites. He mixed his seed with Canaanites. He mixed his seed with Hittites. But what he did, he took 50 wives of the Horites, the cave dweller. In Webster's or Merriam dictionary, you can see they call them troglodytes. Something like a Neanderthal creature that lived in the caves. He took 50 wives when they conquered those people, and that spoiled his seed and gave birth, excuse me, along with the Canaanites and Hittites, who were white people. People don't understand how Ham can produce white people no different than Japheth did, or no different than Esau did. So Ham ain't just all Africans any more than Shem only created Arabs. There are many Afro-Asians created by Shem. Many Africans, people on the continent that came out of Shem, as long even us, the so-called Negro. I don't think there's controversy at all. Not all white people are evil. My next door neighbor is not my problem. They will not do no harm to me. If she did harm to me, then I would include her. But she cannot stop me from getting a job. She cannot stop me from moving in the neighborhood. She cannot stop me from progressing and moving on in my life. Is that object, that which exists, that solely exists to downtrodden me, to keep me from rising up. That white man is that devil and is Esau, who's controlling this world. Yeah.
Okay. And that's as concise as you can put it. So let me ask you this, as it relates to your relationship with Sinetta, because when I see y'all go back and forth, y'all remind me of brothers. And I know every now and then it get a little more serious than they do sometimes, and y'all may go on a break, but then y'all always seem to come back to together. So how would you describe your relationship with the Godfather, Sinetta?
I hate using this because people run away with it. But first you love me, then you hate me. Yeah. It's been rocky, to say the least. I think him and JJ just done fell out again. So I think we'll go through that. I'm all right with Sinetta today. I reached out to Sinetta, tried to him for a while before he would accept me, because I can't spiritually. I can't hold it. I can't begrudge that brother. I can't. I don't care what he do. I can't begrudge him. Right? It's not in me to do that. It would not be Christ-like to do that. I don't have to get along with him, but I can't begrudge him.
Okay.
He's my brother. So we do have our differences. A lot of things it came about because of Nepal, but even that I can't begrudge her. She's my sister. So I mean, I'm glad I'm going good times. My wife often asks me. I go through that with Indigenous. Sometimes Indigenous man, and I call him Lynn. I know him personally like that.
Okay.
So he'll call me up talking about I stole his speaking topics. I'm like, what do you mean I stole? When you was talking about Acts 15, I say, man, you think that you the only person I hear talking about Acts 15? Really?
Oh, wow.
I,
Wow.
I knew about Acts 15 back when I was 22 years old. What are you talking about? The Jerusalem Council. Why would I have to steal that from you, brother? I mean, he called me and cursed me out using his talking points, you know? But I think that's my brother. My wife said, if you and Lynn made up yet? And I said, yeah, I think so. He called me the other day. JJ and I have fallen out.
Yeah, I remember that. But
JJ called me Pinky. I
me
know
and JJ have fallen out, and I try to when I had these falling out with people, I try to make sure I make it right, and especially with brothers like JJ and like Judah Naz, you know, who I had some issues with, and it probably was because of something or somebody else. And it's like, I don't even know how we got to this point, but let me figure out a way to, move past whatever it was. Cause at the end of the day, we brothers, and we can disagree. I say it at the beginning of the show, we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable.
Right.
And so I like that y'all back, back on a positive note, and hopefully him and JJ get there in a few months. I know it's summertime, so we got to go through that little period. But let me ask you about another brother in the community, and I say brother. You may not consider him your brother, but my man Vocab Malone. What's your take on Vocab? Because I know y'all had a nice little, I don't know if it was a debate or just a dialogue, but I know y'all had a nice little back and forth maybe a year or two ago. And for me, it was funny because Vocab, I was calling him the Vlad TV of the conscious community because I couldn't figure out. I'm like, why is this dude constantly talking about the Hebrews or the Israelites and the Comedics and the NOI and the Moors and the 5%ers? Why he ain't talking about like the Mormons or something like that? Like, why is he in our mix?
Right.
And so I'm over here talking about him, and one of his partners that live in St. Louis hit me up and was like, hey man, he said he'll come on your show. And I'm like, oh, well, if I talk about him, I shouldn't, be scared to talk to him. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And it didn't hit me till we were actually doing the show. He could have responded on his platform, a much bigger platform.
Much bigger.
And he could have responded and like I was a flea or something, because I probably had like 200 subscribers at that time.
Right.
If that. But he didn't. He came over here, and I'm looking at my chat, and I got like 100 people in my chat. I'm like, this dude just did me a solid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, wow. And so it hit me like in the middle of the show. And so we chopped it up, and he then came over here and did some things. And when I had I call it my road to Damascus moment.
Mm-hmm.
When I woke up at like 3-something in the morning, my wife was dealing with some things. And I had, I tell people, the Lord had been dealing with me anyway. And I didn't know what else to do for her except to pray. And that's the only thing that came to me. And I'm like, but it was like, what you praying for and you don't believe? And so I had to go through that process in order to be able to stand in proxy for my wife. And so it was an emotional morning. And I remember telling my wife, I was like, hey, I got something to tell you when I get home. And she was like, okay, because my wife never stopped being a Christian, even when I was away. And so that was a test for our marriage early in that process. And so I can definitely relate to some of the challenges you mentioned, just kind of coming up and dealing with things, especially when you're married. I know when you mentioned you've been knowing your wife since 4th grade, I've been knowing mine since 2nd. And so elementary, middle, and high school. So and that's the thing that I think people, when they had a mind made up in a particular way as it relates to the Bible, some stuff they just ain't gonna understand. They ain't gonna understand like what you said about how you had a personal experience. They ain't gonna understand what I said. And the only thing we can do is tell our story. And if it's somebody that still got that a little bit of light left, we can reignite it. And if we get one, however many people listening, we did our job.
Right. Exactly.
But I did ask you what you think of my man Vocab, his approach to apologetics.
Yeah. Let me say this. I work. I don't know what you know about Washington D.C., but I work for a food chain that was rather large, significant in Washington D.C. Giant food, yes sir. Worked 16 years there.
Oh man.
And I had to learn. Your enemy can be your best friend. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They can be very nice to you.
Yeah.
As long as they're in a position that they can help you. But as soon as you put yourself in a position that's perhaps above them, they'll show you their teeth. Because they would be from that day forth trying to pull you down back to that level where they knew you. Right? Because how dare you get above them? I had a hard time understanding that. Because I had a guy at Giant that basically was a blessing to me. Assistant manager in the store. Worked some things out for me. Was glad to do it. Built me a doghouse that was, now today I recognize it. It's the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It's the ba. It's a house or a tent, right? And he built a doghouse where a dog would have to go in, go around, and sleep, protected from the wind. Unique doghouse, man. When you got dogs out in the wintertime that stays outside, and you can take a doghouse and throw some straw in it, and that dog can be just as comfortable in the house. Their coat will develop, and except it get really below zero, you have the dog would be fine. And he did that for me, man. He saw the diagram on the Outdoor Life magazine, and he built it for me. All I paid for was the wood. Nice thing that brother do. Nice thing. I bought my first house. I was 25 years old. Giant Food allowed me to do that. They gave me a good salary. I was 25 years old. When I moved in my house, I took a week off. When I came back, the little girl worked up in the office. Montgomery, I had nothing to do with this. Nothing. Back then, I was a Seventh-day Adventist Christian. So I had Saturdays off. Giant Food pays triple time for holidays, double time for Sunday if you work, time and a half for anything over 8 hours in a day. So I'm working on Sundays getting double time. But they found out that Saturday was my chosen day of rest. You know, this guy tried to call my supervision and tried to get it reversed, saying that if he wants Saturday, then he ain't going to be able to get double time for working on Sunday. He tried to affect my money or try to make me work on the Sabbath.
Right.
Now, what did that have to do with him?
Yeah.
He ain't got nothing to do with me. He's not even my supervisor. My supervision is over at the main office.
And they obviously was fine with it. But here, that's how that is.
I'm a commissioned officer in the state of Maryland. I'm carrying a gun. I got a badge. I got a patch. And all for 16 years, I carried a gun. Excuse me, nine of the 16 years, I carried the gun. I carried the bag. I didn't work for the store. I worked in the store. I could lock up a store member just as quick as I can lock up a thief coming through that door. If I wanted to. See? Yeah, but when you start getting into my business and hurting me, why would this dude do this? Why? Because he's the devil himself. That's why. I was fine with it as long as I'm in a position that he can help me. Why? Because then I'm in a lower position than he is.
Right.
But let me go par equal to him, let alone above him. That's when the anger got shown. That's when the hostility got shown. That's when his racist head showed his face. And that's what I say about vocab. When I don't care if any one of those pictures that Russian president revealed had anything to do with reality or not. Why are you upset because they making Christ black? Why is that upsetting you? I've been dealing with Christ being white all my life. It never upsetted me. And that's the way he was in my church. I didn't get upset about it. I didn't get mad about it. But now somebody make him black and you upset like nigga, understand. He was an Afrocentric. He was a black man. Accept it. You are an Edomite. Vocab. Accept it. If you want to go to the kingdom, get your working shoes on. Because you're going to be slave labor. You're going to build my house, build up my walls, take care of my children, and you're going to be glad to do it.
Drive now.
Hey, listen.
Isaiah 60. You believe in the Bible. You told me that it's perfect. Well, read Isaiah chapter 60, the entire chapter. That's where you'll find you. Isaiah 14. That's where you'll find you. You think you're going to escape because you personally ain't had nothing to do with slavery? You benefited from it, brother. By being a white man, you benefited from it. And you shall suffer under it. Whatsoever man soweth, that shall he reap.
This is my last question as it pertains to some of the people who you engage with on the toughest environment, as we call it. My main man, Jabari Osase.
I remember watching my wife, man. You know, sometimes she like watching. I can't even think of the name of the channel, but it got something to do with fixing your home up.
Okay.
You know, they come in your home and they redecorate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jabari was Jabari then. They came in and decorated his home. Some white folk. And they didn't use no Afrocentric stuff, man. He had on a shirt and a tie. He didn't wear what he wears on Sonetta. He didn't have all this I seen inside his house where they were remodeling it. He didn't have all that stuff in there. So it seems like he's portraying a Jabari that was Jabari. He changed his name. His name was Jabari on the show. My wife said, Stan, ain't that Jabari? Because she liked to hear him talk, the way he pronunciates. Noah. No, sound like my grandkids. Man, what are you talking about, Noah? You saying Noah or you saying no? You know? I like Jabari. Jabari, I like to make fun of Jabari. Jabari is the Christian to his heart. A Catholic at that.
You think so?
Yeah, he was disappointed. He hurt. He Christian hurt. That's why he's still, even in Kemet, he's this guy that hears the mummy speaking to him in the museum. He's still spooky. You know, he's a priest, for God's sake. What does a priest do? Worship under gods. Now, not God, but gods. These gods in Egypt exist. They're real. They will cause you to lose your soul because they can't fix your soul. They can't do nothing spiritually for you. Even your 42 confessions are after life. They're not present before death. There is no confession at death. You cannot stand before God and seek forgiveness once you're dead. You had that opportunity while you lived, brother, and you forsook it. You didn't take it serious. When your opportunity came, you rejected the Most High. In life, therefore in death, he will reject you. Your gods are not going to be able to help you. That mummy that spoke to you, that called your name Jabari, if that's what you heard, can't save your soul. So what can Egypt do for you today, brother?
Hey, Apostle is like y'all see how like he on one hand he telling his story and he like keeping it real kosher, but then he can come with the venom. I'm surprised you haven't had more debate, but you said you don't debate.
I
So
don't.
okay,
I
so
don't.
that ain't been
I
able to
contend for the faith. I hate
okay.
debating. I don't like debating. And I put in the hard work, and then you're gonna say I lost to a
Yeah,
20-year-old kid? Nah,
I
man,
feel
come
you.
on,
I feel you.
come on,
Because I
man.
was gonna say I'm surprised Sonetta ain't been able to coach you into having a debate. But I guess the closest thing I seen was when you had that conversation with Vocab Malone. But
Right? Yeah.
now let me ask you, do you want to open it up for the chat or do you want me to pull up some of the questions?
No,
And
no. Let the chat come in, man. Let the chat
okay,
come in.
okay.
And then after the chat, if there's some questions left over and we got time, I'll deal with them too.
Okay. All right. The link is in the chat, family. Come in if you got a question or a comment. Show the elder some love. We got his cash app going across the screen. Also, go support the elder on his channel. Go subscribe to the channel Apostle Zaqan on YouTube. I'm gonna put the link in the chat as well. So definitely go over there and subscribe. We want to get that up to at least 1,000 so the brother can start getting some of them YouTube coins.
Yeah,
But
appreciate it.
definitely go over there and support.
Most High bless, man. Most High bless.
And so the link is in the chat. Come on in if you got any questions for the elder. I thought this was definitely a good show. Got some information I didn't even realize. Definitely a powerful testimony.
Hey, your chat is pretty decent, man.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, they definitely show me some love, man.
Yeah.
I will say that the people that's loyal, they stay loyal. Like that
Right.
sometimes it'd be up to like 30 or 40 sometimes, just depending on what we got going on. So yeah, I definitely got a loyal crew over here. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So we're gonna keep trying to make it grow, and
Yeah.
I just try to stay genuine to what my objectives are, and that's bringing my people on of all walks of life, all beliefs, ideologies, and just letting them have a say. And we put together some conversations, some dialogue, some debates and stuff like that as well. But for the most part, we just want to have our people come over, speak their speech, teach their lessons, because cream gonna rise to the top, and the
Oh
people
yeah.
gonna decide what's fact and what's fiction, and they'll decide what make more sense to them. The thing is, if they don't have nothing to contrast it off of, then you know, I could come on here and tell them all day, Jesus Christ is Lord, but sometimes they need something to contrast that off of. So
Right.
I wanna let them see all of the different things up front, because sometimes you get out in the world and you be surprised, especially the youngsters. They be surprised that it's Muslims and Israelites and Black Buddhists and all of these different things, and they get spellbound by those things, especially like when they off to college and things like that.
Right.
We bring them all here and let them talk they talk, these different paradigms, and you know, it's not new to them when they get out in the world and start becoming young adults and things of that nature. So, you know, it's just my little idea about showing my people that it don't have to be one thing, and you don't have to agree with me for me to give you a platform. Like I said,
Right.
we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable.
Right.
All right.
I'm going. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, all right, family, hit the chat if you got a question for the elder. Otherwise, I'm gonna start bringing up some of the questions I see in the chat. But while we doing that, what was you about to say?
I turned 69 last week, and I guess as a result of that, just that quick, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, I got you. Your conversion. How long has it been since you decided to return to the Lord, man?
It was a year on March 28th
All
this
right.
year. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm look, man. I'm glad anybody, when I hear that story, man, somebody giving over their life, you know, to the Lord, you're gonna allow the Lord to lead you, as in Proverbs 3 and 5. You know, you're gonna seek His direction. You're gonna seek His way. You're gonna let Him take that lead and guide you. Down. Look, man, I got nothing but respect for you, because I'm gonna tell you, man, uh, it's change is one of the hardest things in the world. I know for me, I struggle with change. You know,
Yeah.
especially when it's requiring me to do something that's taking me to a level of uncomfortability, uncomfortable. Uh, but when we change for Christ, it only gets better. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to have rough times, because you are. There's still going to be dark days. But just knowing that you got somebody to go through it with, knowing that you don't have to go through it by yourself. And I just ain't talking about the brothers and sisters that's there struggling with you, but I'm talking about the true Christ, the one who picked up his body, right? The one who resurrected and now sits on the right hand of the Most High God. That one surely will not resist you in your time of need. He will be right there with you always. That's my testimony, because
I
that's
appreciate that. Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, it showed me a lot with regards to, because you know, I'm thinking, hey man, I've been a genuine brother, you know what I mean, to people, and you know, I ain't nothing gonna change. I'm still gonna let people come on my platform and rock out and all of that. It's a lot of people stopped rocking with me when I went back to the church, like a lot of people. And it is funny to see. And like when I think about it now, it's like, wow, because I really thought I was like cool with this person or that person. And like the anger that they had with regards to that, and just the lack of historical accuracy when it comes to certain things about our ancestors. See, I hear a lot about our ancestors and having respect and veneration for them. But then when we get down to it, we disrespect them because we want to say that somebody could force them to believe a certain thing.
right.
And I don't know how that's possible. But what I do know, it was this thing called the hidden church or the invisible institution, where our ancestors got an understanding of that Bible on their own,
Right.
independent of what this enslaver said.
Right.
But we don't want to put no respect on that.
Right.
And last time I checked, Elder, if I may, if somebody forcing you to do something, they force something on you, you ain't got to sneak around and do it.
No.
But we know our ancestors had to sneak and have church at risk of their own safety. And if you forcing me to do it, what I got to sneak for?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But don't nobody want to talk about that when they talking about it was forced on our ancestors. No, you can't cherry pick scriptures out the Bible and call that Christianity. Right. I can't take the Pert Emheru or what they call the Book of the Dead and cherry pick certain elements out of it and then say that's the Kemetic tradition, or cherry pick verses out of the Quran and say that's Islam. Right. But why they allow the enslaver to cherry pick scriptures out the Bible and then allow that to be called Christianity?
Right.
That don't make no sense.
It don't make no sense at all. It don't make no sense. Listen, a person ain't gonna put their lives on the line for something they don't believe in.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And then we got to talk about what the Bible say Christianity is, what Christ said you would do. He said, if you love me, obey my commandments.
There you go.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I don't think that's what the enslaver did. So let's stop calling them people Christians.
Right. Please.
Why are we calling them Christians?
Right.
So it's a lot that go into that I think our people in particular miss when we're in a particular mind state. And the bad part about it is they be laughing at me like I really don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, you the one that ain't writing exact. I'm literally telling you what our ancestors said about themselves. And you ain't arguing with me, you arguing with them. And I was saying that before I came back to Christ, because I want to be as accurate as I can when I'm talking about my ancestors. And so it just kind of came full circle. And I remember coming home one day, my wife, who hated what I was saying on my show, and my granddaughter grabbed my hand. She was like, Papa, come downstairs. She had bought my camera and my ring light, bought me a new computer, the green screen, all of that. And I was like, what made you do this? Because I knew she hated my show. She said, the Lord told me to do it.
What?
And before I knew it, all of the people who was non-believers stopped coming on my channel.
Wow.
And the people that was believers started forming a circle around me.
Right.
Like literally, people who you would think I wouldn't get along with some of the stuff I was saying.
Right.
Were some of the best brothers I had ever met in my life. And they all over the country, California, New York, Alabama, Florida, all over, Georgia, all over the country.
Right.
And I have bipolar 2 disorder.
Okay.
And it's like telltale signs when I'm dealing with my situation. Right. These brothers hit me up, hey bro, you good? Everything going all right? Just checking on you. I don't get that from the non-believers.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, it's a few of them. Shout out to those brothers who do check in on a brother, because don't nobody have to. But for the most part, especially back, a couple of years ago, it was those brothers. Right. All of that started coming back to my recollection as I was having that moment where I was trying to figure out how I could help my wife. And so I'm at peace with where I'm at.
There you go. There you go.
And if other people feel a way about it, then that's their situation that they're gonna have to deal with. But as far as me, it's like the Bible says, as far as my house, we gonna serve the Lord.
Joshua 24:15. Yes, sir. Yes,
so,
sir.
But it don't look like we got nobody that
yeah, that's right, man. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't perk no interest, man. I was hoping that somebody would come up. I see my brother Ned, indigenous black man, is being true. He's throwing a joke at me. Apostle.
Yeah. My breakup to makeup joke. That was a good one.
Yeah, he's being true.
A good one.
Yeah.
So Spirit Led said, so all you have to do is just go get some licenses. I don't know what that means.
I don't either. No, 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 nothing was handed to me. Nothing was given to me. Everything that I have, if anybody gave it to me, the Most High did. He gifted me with the gift um, for preaching, for loving, uh, hospitality. He gifted me with all of that. Because of myself, I don't have that in me to be that hospitable to people. This is what God did. He's reformed me in every way. So everything was identified within the audience, within the group of people that I labored with. They identified, they recognized. I've been raising up churches for a while. Before I came down here to South Carolina, I was always involved in starting a new church. So that's what an apostle does, seeds. He's one who is called out to gather assemblies. I've been doing that for years. This is what I do in ministry. Not just go out and preach to convert, but to raise up churches in these different communities. This is how the Lord has used me. So,
and then they ask another question. It says, how do you have to endure to the end, but then in the same breath? Hold up. How do you have to endure to the end, but then in the same breath? So you guys saved in the past tense. I don't really understand. Maybe they ain't words.
Yeah. I guess it's a hard question to type. It's much easier if he would have came up and voiced it rather than trying to type it out. But to say that I'm saved by faith, all I'm doing is claiming my reality as I stand today. By faith, I'm claiming it. Even though in my head and in my heart, I have to endure. I have to stay on the path of righteousness. That path is straight and narrow, as the scripture says. You will find it, but great and broad is the way of destruction. Many shall that way go. So what I'm saying is, just because I'm claiming something now by faith, I'm holding to that it's going to work out in the future as well. That God is going to show me favor. I claim that by faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Without faith, it's impossible to please God.
And the Bible backed that up too, because in my opinion anyway, because it say faith without works is dead. So the endurance is the work.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't think that that's something that should necessarily be in question. Bo's channel says, question for Apostle. Did any prophet ever tell us that we would have to go through God's son to get to him?
Yeah. What you talking about, Old Testament or New Testament?
He probably talking about Old Testament.
Old Testament.
Prophet.
Yeah, read Exodus 23. Start reading about verse 20. The Lord is talking about his messenger, Moses, the prophet, is prophesying about Christ and how he's going to lead us through one day to the next, from one Pesach to the next. I will send my angel to lead thee in the path. Right after, he's talking about the feast of unleavened bread, how he's going to lead us. Not only through the feast, but through dedication, through atonement. He's going to lead us through all the holidays. Throughout the year, he's going to send his messenger, his angel, which is Christ. to lead us. How do we know that's Christ? Because no angel can forgive sin, but that angel can. It says, beware of him, right? And provoke him not, okay? Because he will not forgive your transgressions. That's a prophecy of Christ, one of many of the Old Testament. Okay, Isaiah prophesied about him. Yes. Jeremiah prophesied about him. Yeah, many prophets prophesied. Isaiah prophesied about him in Psalms, although they want to say Israel, but Israel can't save Israel. How's Israel going to save itself? That's ridiculous. It's talking about one dying for the many. Not many dying for the many, one dying. One, that we would see no beauty or comeliness. That he was esteemed or stricken, afflicted by his own. We afflict him. Those that he died for afflict him. Remember, we cried, crucify him. Crucify him. We rejected him. John's 1:11. That he came to his own, but his own received them not. But as many of them that did, to them he gave the power to become the sons of God.
And let's be honest, we literally, when we live in a particular way, we reject God every day. I remember asking a friend of mine, we was talking about, and this is when before I came back into the fold, he was talking to me about being a non-believer versus him being a believer. And at the time, he was still married, living separate from his wife, and he probably had about 12 different women coming in and out of his house, right? And so I asked him, I say, so would you do what you're doing with these females in front of your pastor? No, why would you ask me that? I say, so you wouldn't do it in front of your pastor? Okay, cool. I say, let me ask you this. Do you lie to those women? He was like, some of them. Do you lie to your wife about your engagement with these women? Sometimes. Okay, cool. So you lying, you fornicating, and you committing adultery. And you wouldn't do those things in front of your pastor. That's correct. I say, but you're doing it in front of God every day.
Every day.
And he was like, oh, man, get away from me. But he was talking to me about what was going to happen to me for not believing. But you believe and you do these things in front of God every day. And so it was like, so we all do things to reject God and reject Christ on a daily basis that we don't even realize we doing.
Right.
So, but hey, since don't nobody want to come in, I'm gonna say I appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah.
And if you got something like a lesson, you just want to come and teach, I'm down for that. Whatever you want to do, you got carte blanche. Definitely was an honor to have you on. Hopefully somebody in this chat sent you some change. I'm definitely gonna hit you up myself when I get my paper right, as Kanye said. And shout out to Daniel Haru in the building. I want to get an interview with that brother too. I got to figure out a way to connect with him. Hey, Daniel Haru, hit the link and put your info in the private chat if you're interested in having an interview, or maybe I could reach out to you on Facebook. But I definitely want to interview him as well. But yeah, like I say, I appreciate you coming on, man. Take as long as you want to close out. Let the people know where your channel is, how they can subscribe to it, and anything else you got going on.
All right. Thank you, man. Again, thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it, DMG. I am so elated, man. I'm look, to hear of your transformation and your new beginning of a year. May God give you many as you desire. Assist you in that. They say that the unbelieving spouse is sanctified by believing spouse. I hold to that. That's why you were able to find your way home, because your wife was praying for you, brother. Yes, sir. I believe that. My wife, she's in the room. I'm sure she won't mind, because her struggles are my struggles. And the thing is, God helps her just like he helps me. She suffers from bipolar. As a matter of fact, in 2000, she was hospitalized,
Okay.
where she hadn't been hospitalized in years. So we've been married 28 years now with my second wife. Um, I love her, recognize, identify with her struggles more and more. So, Satan, you're not able to trip me up and have me arguing with her as much as I used to, because I identify it's the symptom of the problem, not the problem, but the symptom. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
very great.
I gotta salute you as being a spouse on the other end of that. I know how difficult that can be, being the person, with that particular affliction, because I know I done took, since my wife was 9, we've been married since she was 19 and since I was 20.
Right.
And she been knowing me my whole life, like I said, since second grade. So she's seen the literal shift.
The explosion, the ups, the down,
Yeah.
the
And
heights,
yeah, when it first
euphoria.
started manifesting, like everybody that knew me could see little things here and there. But when it really started manifesting in my early 20s, she saw, like, and she thinking, I remember her asking my aunt, like, have he always been like this? Did he move me in this house? And, because she thinking this is what I've been. They like, he ain't never acted like this, because they had never seen me act like that.
Right.
Nope. I got told I was possessed and all kinds of stuff. This is why I speak out about it so much, because I want our people to be aware. This is a serious thing, and it's a normal thing. It's a chemical imbalance. We just got to deal with it. We can navigate it.
Take your
You
mask.
don't have to ostracize us and throw us away.
Right.
We gonna be all right. And it takes the love and support of spouses like yourself and my wife to help individuals like me and your wife, God bless her, get through. Without y'all, it would be impossible.
Right.
And I know that for a
Right.
fact. So salute to you and your queen from the bottom of my heart for seeing y'all where y'all at now, and knowing me and my queen can get there.
Yeah. Yeah. More and more, I'm gonna say this. Even if you don't visit my Cash App, there's a brother in our community, the Mighty Hebrew. His wife has just went through double mastectomy, and they're doing recreated surgery on her. If the Lord lay it on your heart to look his Cash App up, the Mighty Hebrew, Prince Landier. I don't know that name as great as I know the Mighty Hebrew, but send that brother some prayers, and if you can, send the brother some coins. Okay, he's over there in Tanzania, and he's holding on to the best that he can. Things are getting kind of expensive for them, for the treatment and stuff. I know this personally, so I send him something every month, and I wouldn't do this if I wasn't doing what I was doing. And I'm not coming on here to talk about. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Get in touch with the brother. Let him know you're praying for him, and send him some help. Okay? That's the Mighty Hebrew, a brother in our community.
Yes,
I enjoyed this, man. I appreciate you very much, man. Once again, to your chat, man, I'm loving it. Very positive. I can't say nothing. Everybody. I got nothing but love for you. Thank you for receiving me and receiving my words.
No doubt.
Appreciate you, brother. Love you, man.
Likewise, brother. Appreciate it.
Anytime you and if I come up, I got one slated for Sarnetta, but the Most High is dealing with me all the time. So maybe my next one after Sarnetta will be on your very channel, man. I appreciate you.
No doubt. I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Man.
All right, man. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Likewise. All right, family. Hey, that's Apostle Zaqan. I thought it was a good show. Y'all know what it is. It's DMG the Poet, aka Brother Pianki. Shout out to the Dream Team. Shout out to the Craig and Craig Law Firm. Shout out to the Super Team. Shout out to the Godfather Sonetta, because listen, for everybody that hate on Sonetta, let me say this. The people who I'm able to bring on, whether it's Brother Jabari, whether it's Apostle Zaqan, whether it's any other people who've been on his channel and they matriculate down to me, it's because of the work Sonetta been putting in. I think a lot of people get it twisted and they want to get into that man personal situations and his personal life. But I look at what he built and this space where Black people of different ideologies, different perspectives, different paradigms can come on and speak their speech, and they can actually earn money doing so, whether that's as a debater or as a vendor when he put on his live events. And so shout out to that brother for everything he's been doing and making these connections. And again, I know, you know, as far as the real beefs go and the personal things, I'm not speaking on that. My man JJ, that's my man. If he got a personal gripe, so be it. I'm not gonna speak ill on him to Sonetta, and I'm not gonna speak ill on Sonetta to him. I'm gonna let them handle their business. Maybe they'll work it out, maybe they won't. But I'm gonna try to be Switzerland in this thing. Paradigm Shift gonna try to stay on this positive track. We got the tournament coming up. $300 cash to the winner. We believe in rewarding people for their work, and these PowerPoints, this research, all of those things take time, it take effort. And so we came up with a $300 cash prize to the winner. The runner-up will receive $100. That being said, that will be coming up. Stay tuned to the Craig and Craig Law Firm for when exactly that's going to kick off. My man Zion the Lion is the #1 seed. My man Takari is the #2 seed. We got some powerful, discussions coming up in that thing. So y'all stay tuned for that. We trying to bring y'all some informative content, some edutaining content. We got B Wash coming up. He had a powerful interview with my man, the Haitian Nightmare, my man Darian. And look forward to the Dream Team sort of spanning out. You know how these rap groups sort of break out and do their solo projects. Y'all know how Wu-Tang did, and then they come back together and form Voltron. That's what y'all gonna start seeing the Dream Team do. I'm looking for some non-believers to get together and do the same thing. Maybe we can have another team debate. But if it's one-on-ones, it's one-on-ones. However y'all want it, that's how we're gonna bring it to you. So that being said, family, we're gonna leave y'all with a little more Neo love as we take our leave. But again, I thought it was a powerful interview with the elder. Got some nice things coming up. Stay tuned for B Wash. Stay tuned for our sister, the Queen is returning. Miss Mignette Unk will be back later this month. We got a powerful show talking about empowering. You know what? We already did the empowering women through the Kemetic tradition. We bringing y'all something else from the Kemetic perspective with Mignette Unk. So y'all just stay tuned for it. Sunday, I got Leslie Moore coming on. And for those who don't know who I'm talking about, when y'all see her, y'all gonna remember exactly who she is. But she was the first female guest I had on my platform 4 or 5 years ago. And she was controversial then. She's still controversial now. The Queen is gonna be coming on to talk with me about, is the relationship between the Black man and the Black woman completely shattered? I'm hoping my man David from the Dream Team will be able to jump on that as well. and a couple of more sisters. So we're going to get to it. Like I say, we got some stuff coming up. Shout out to my man, Jay Fax in the building. Y'all going to be seeing a lot more from that brother as well. We doing what we do, family. We trucking along. You know, this the little channel that could. So y'all keep rocking with us. We're going to keep rocking with you. That being said, it's my man, Neo Love. I'm out. That's peace.
Yeah. I know I got about 30 seconds to make y'all feel this before y'all turn it off these days. That I might not even release this. But I be doing this shit for me. Help me get through. I feel like I give until I can't, but most don't recognize it till I ain't. Blood on them covers, she hoping paint. Sorry, mama, but it ain't. This world took a toll on me, and everyone that say they love me always seem to follow me. The same one that call me great, treat me like I ain't shit. I read between the lines, it's written all over your eyes. I see the disappointment in the eyes of the ones who want me dead, but I ain't never been scared. I tried to get there. Sometimes I wonder if I survived or did I die on that ride to that hospital. Demons all around me, I am not mental. This game of life, it is not simple. Last time I was happy, I was popping pills.